Hi, I'm Kelly Jean and I'm a horror photographer, and we're here in Stockhill Woods in Somerset today just getting a few horror portrait setups ready for Halloween. My biggest inspiration for horror photography is horror movies. I would never let my kids watch horror movies as young as I did. My favourite sort of genre of horror movies are like folk, more occult horror, but also my nightmares and sleep paralysis I tend to make into horror photos. I feel like it's a way for me to just make them less powerful. I do have a series that sort of delves into mental health as well, so I try to use my photography to help me process things that I'm going through, like mentally as well. And if you wanted to sort of put your hands in the air, and that's really right. Okay, I think we're done with those ones. Shall we go into the woods? I'm an over-preparer, so I like to have a whole mood board before I even start any preparing. I also have a book with like lots of different shot ideas in it. I tend to write an entire list of exactly what frames I want to get, so I don't forget any of the single shots that I want to take. I think first we'll try and do the portrait of you with all the dead bodies around. Okay. So, and then we'll do like the ghosty stuff as well, wearing the same white dress. Yeah. Also, I want to try another one of those levitation shots. Remember, like last time when you're like jumping? So we'll give that a go as well.
With the bare feet, that works a lot.
Yeah, and with the LED candles we'll have like lying around as well. But then when I'm on the shoot, I might get inspired to do another shot that's different. So I don't always have to stick to the list, but I like to have a shot list just so I don't forget anything. And also scouting the location is really important. So I tend to shoot in this woods quite a lot because there's lots of different spots here, but finding the right location for the right shoot is really, really important. And obviously lots of pre-discussion with the model or the client about what's going to happen and what I need them to do, because obviously it's a lot of lying down on the ground and getting fake blood and stuff on them and stuff. So it's very important to like have a conversation about that and find out what they're really comfortable with. You could always do it in front of that part. So, oh wow, okay, that's even better than I imagined. That's cool. All the props and the costumes and all the little bits like that I've collected over the years, so I have to prepare exactly what I'm going to bring specifically to that shoot. I do make a lot of stuff, so I can make like bits of costumes. For example, I make and paint masks as well as like costume bits as well, and other bits like candles and things you can just get anywhere. Everywhere I go, I see places that I want to shoot, and it annoys everyone in my life. I want lots of multiple versions of Nikki. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my camera on a tripod, I'm going to use a remote shutter, and then I'm going to do several layers and then composite them together afterwards in post-production. But basically I want lots of dead versions of Nikki. And I want her walking through a pathway of dead versions of herself. So basically. I'm going to use my 6D Mark II because I like the flip screen. And I'm going to use my remote shutter on that one. The lens is at 20mm at the moment, so I get quite a wide frame for that one because I want Nikki to be in lots of different places in this shot. I have got ISO 2000 because we're literally in the woods. I've popped the aperture at 5.6 just so that I've got enough depth in it, and my shutter speed is 1/125 seconds because I don't want it to be too fast, but I don't want it to be just too slow either. Okay, ready to go? A lot of my ghosty images, I use a slow shutter speed. I'm going to put it on, I think, 4 here, so 1/4 I think. We'll just try that one first. So we'll just see if that works and then get some movement and stuff. Dance around. Do you remember when we did that sort of circle of witches and you was, yes, so we'll try something like that. Yeah, that works perfectly. In terms of equipment, I generally use 2 different cameras. So when I do handheld shots, I use my Canon 5D Mark IV, and for anything that's on a tripod that requires a remote shutter, I use my 60 Mark II so that I can use the flip screen, because sometimes I won't necessarily be at the camera, so I want to like flip the screen and see the image from a different angle. I generally use a 50mm lens and a 16-35 because I do prefer wider shots. So on shoots like this, I tend to prefer to use second-hand lenses just because I'm working with the environment a lot more, so there's a lot more mud, there's more chance of lenses getting broken. I might be using fake blood, so I don't want to get brand new, really expensive lenses like ruined. I have like other things as well, like a lens baby and stuff that I like to like crack out now and again just for like that extra like creep factor. Post-production, I tend to take out quite a lot of the colours, so I don't want it to be too green, so I want it to look more desolate and quite dead. I spend a lot of time actually putting composites together where I use layer masks, getting all the pictures of if there's like several versions of someone in the same frame. I tend to do a lot of that as well. For some images, I might even remove the pupils from someone's eyes, for example, or I might add a little bit of like smoke or fog in, or some light rays or something, just to give it a bit of extra depth. For this one, I've painted up a rabbit mask, made it look quite distressed, and I just wanted Nikki to be sort of in the mask but looking quite ghostly as well, just to give it that sort of uneasy feeling, you know, when someone's wearing a mask and you don't quite know what their emotions are and what they're going to do next. For these shots, I actually used 2 seconds. I was getting Nikki to look at the camera for a portion of those 2 seconds, then move very quickly and then stay still again, so we can get 2 different versions of her in the same shot in detail, but with that sort of bit of blur in between. I think we're done with those ones. Perfect. So I think we'll pack up and go to like the next location now. I'm just going to give Nikki a lantern with a candle in it, and I'm just going to get her to sort of wander around the woods, so I'll do some like sort of dark, sort of ethereal looking portraits, just using the landscape in the backdrop. So I want you to just like look around, maybe hold the lantern out quite a bit as well.
Okay, at this sort of distance.
Yeah, so I can get all the background. My top tips tips for shooting horror photography. Definitely have a book that you can write down all of your ideas in. Often you might go through a creative rut, or you're on the shoot and you can't think on the spot of like what you want to actually shoot, so it's really good to have a book full of your ideas. Another tip I would say is to make sure you have a bit of a storyboard before you plan the shoot, because with horror photography you don't just want to take a plain photo of someone in a creepy costume. It's really important to have a story in the image so that you create that sort of feeling of dread. You don't just want a plain shot that might catch someone's eye, but it's not going to fill the viewer with that sort of the dread and fear that you want them to have. Thank you for watching. I'm Kelly Jean. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Kelly Jean Horror. And don't forget to subscribe to MPB's YouTube channel. Happy Halloween!